Ryan here with longrangeonly.com. In this video, we're going to do basically an initial impressions on this sleeping bag. I don't like doing this, but hunting season is rolling around. I know a lot of people are scrambling to get gear ready, update gear from last year, or maybe you're just getting into it for the first time. Whether you're like me, you don't live out west and you're traveling out west for a hunt, or you live out there and you just want to upgrade your equipment. So we're going to talk about this Super Down sleeping bag from Kuiu. I'm a cold sleeper, so I always run 0-degree bags. I'm not going to buy a $500, $600, $700 30-degree bag and then another $500, $600, $700 0-degree bag. So if it's super warm out, I just use it like a blanket and undo it, and I'm fine. But when it gets cold, I know that I have the protection, and so that's why I'm always going to use a 0-degree bag. For those of you that don't agree with that, they have several other options, but we are going to talk specifically about this. I've been using these for, I don't know, 15 years now, sleeping bags. High quality, low weight, warm sleeping bags. I've been using sleeping bags since I was a little kid, so closer to 40 years. But I know a lot of you guys have been doing it longer, but I started off going through the non-hunting versions because no one that I was aware of at the time made them that was in the hunting community. Maybe there were options and I just didn't know. But I've tried several from Sierra Designs, Marmot, maybe some other ones I can't remember, and they were all 0-degree or right above 0. I think the Sierra Designs bag was actually a 6-degree. And those have all gone away and they've upgraded or changed, and they're still 0-degree bags, but they're heavier. Those used to be right in the 32-ounce range. And realistically, when I try these new bags like the Western Mountaineering, the newer Marmot, which is close to 3 pounds, and I don't remember the specs on it. I think the Western Mountaineering bag that I do have is around 3 pounds for a 0-degree. It's clear when I'm sleeping in those that the old ones just were not as warm, so I think their rating was off. There is an official or a standard rating system. I've just not found it to be super accurate. So that's why I think talking about these bags is important. We'll go ahead and get it out of here, out of the storage bag. And we're going to talk about the main difference. My main bag for the past several years has been a Western Mountaineering. I don't have the specs. This really isn't a comparison video. When I do the review, I will compare them because I think it's important if you're going to spend this kind of money to know why you would pick one. This is just a first impressions. I think, just like I said, first impression wise, I think the reason why this is a little bit lighter than the Western Mountaineering is it's just not as dimensionally big. So I'll talk about that here in a second. I got this at the end of spring, so those super cold temperatures were fading fast, and I only got a couple nights in it where the temperature was cold enough to actually test. And no, it wasn't 0, but it was in the 20s. It's cold enough for me to tell the difference between them. Not so much that I'm going to stick with it and make bold statements like one's better than the other. That's what I will do in the review after I've spent this hunting season sleeping in them, from night to night, switching off. This is the stuff sack. I would consider it to be standard. Obviously, the fill volume of the down and the quality of the down is going to dictate how compact it can get. It's also going to dictate the weight versus the warmth rating. So this is some of the best down, if not the best down you can get. It's an 850 fill, again, 0-degree. It's got their quicks down, so it's supposed to be water repellent. I may or may not test that. I have been in some situations where my sleeping bag got wet, it has never been a concern for me, or it has never been an issue. It is always a concern. It's never been an issue. Right off the bat, what I'm going to tell you my impressions are, again, this is not a review. I'm going to repeat that lots of times because people confuse the two. And I really don't feel you can do a review until you've thoroughly used the product. You can't go out there and use it for 1 or 2 nights. You can't go out there and shoot 100 bullets at paper, that type of stuff. I see it all over the internet. It drives me nuts. We don't do that. We're not going to do that. But having slept in each, well, this a couple nights, 2-3 nights, and the Western Mountaineering several, I'm going to tell you that they're very, very similar in the warmth rating. This Kuiu bag is a little bit lighter, and the number one thing, or maybe the only thing that you're going to give up, is it's not as roomy inside. I toss and turn all the time, and if I do have any concerns, that would be the concern, because the Western Mountaineering bag, I can flop around like a fish all night long and it doesn't bother me. I didn't have that problem when I slept in this a few nights, so I definitely am not saying that is a problem, but it is tighter. I don't anticipate it being a problem, because if it were going to be a problem, I would have noticed it in that first few nights. It is something I'm going to not even look for, because it's going to become obvious if I don't wake up rested and I'm all twisted up in the bag. The trade-off is that's where your weight comes from. They basically have everything else is the same, but that Western Mountaineering is a little roomier, therefore has a little bit more material, and so it's a little bit heavier. So I wanted to get this out. I know this isn't a lot of information, but I think this is going to be a great bag. For those of you that have never had a problem in a constricted mummy and you need warmth without the sacrifice of weight, but you don't want to go so light that you don't get the warmth, this bag is one of the best that I have used. Again, I've only spent 3 nights in it, and they weren't super, super cold, but I've been in these bags enough to know the difference between each bag. I definitely know this is better than a lot of the other options I've tried, but this winter we will be comparing it extensively side by side with the Western Mountaineering. The enclosure here keeps you nice and warm. It's not suffocating. It can be cinched. It's got all the features that you would expect out of a high quality sleeping bag. And like I said, it's warm. The zippers are super nice, which on some bags is pretty annoying to me. I didn't notice it so far. I didn't notice it catching, which a lot of sleeping bags do. But I think for me, I'm going to say if you have to have a bag this fall and you're looking for, which one to buy, the Western Mountaineering to me has become the gold standard. It's super warm. It's somewhat lightweight at 3 pounds for a 0 degree bag. It's going to do everything you need. Now, if you can get away with this one for 8 ounces less, it's just as warm, yet you can deal with a little bit tighter constriction, then this could easily replace that Western Mountaineering. Time will tell this fall, but this is definitely a bag that you should look at if you're needing something for this fall, or you just want to upgrade, whatever your situation is. I will be available for questions on the forum, so if I didn't cover anything that I already know, you can go ask. I'll either tell you I do or don't know, and we can go from there. Like I said, this is just my initial thoughts, not a review, not an extensive review. You need time in a product or with a product to give a review, and we just haven't had that yet. But I'll have a link in the description below to a thread on the forum. You can head on over there. You can ask me questions. I'll try to get them answered for you. If I can't answer them on the spot, we'll definitely try to make sure that we pay attention to it this fall, so when we do the review, we can give that information to you. If you're not a member on the forum, please go ahead and join. It's free. It's quick. We would love to have you. There's a lot of great information on the forum, especially if you're into guns and shooting and long-range shooting and that type of stuff. But we are hunters as well, so we do use the gear that you're going to be interested in. Don't be afraid to go over, start a thread if you don't see what you're after. Please like the video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and turn on notifications so you can be aware of future video releases. We appreciate you taking the time to watch. Have a great day.